Wow. It's like taking a step back in time. These videos are family history.
I vividly recall holidays at Grandma and Grandpa's house in rural southeast Texas.
I look like I'm so annoyed that he's panning in on me.
There I am with the big hair. I'm 16. In this home video you can see where I threw a touchdown to my cousin Tommy one day.
I just love seeing the family.
My cousin and I had something in common. Our fathers were alcoholics.
That's my mom, my dad.
I found escape in journalism.
I'm right there in the dress.
My father found God and quit drinking years ago.
That's Tommy. I've got my hands on his shoulder.
Thomas was not so lucky. His family moved to LA, living in the most drug and gang-infested parts of the city. It's hard to see my cousin's face when he was 9 years old. He was such a sweet kid.
That's probably not long before Thomas got in so much trouble.
Because when he turned 19, he became a drug dealer and a killer.
So this man owed Tommy money, drug money. Tommy went to this motel room looking for him. When he gets to the room, the man basically tells him, well, I'm not going to pay you. And they get into a conflict, and Tommy shoots and kills him. I can't make any excuses for what he did. Tommy emptied his gun in him. This was not self-defense.
Inside San Quentin State Prison is my cousin, the convicted murderer, a man I haven't seen in 30 years, until 2.5 weeks ago.
You got me going. I'm not even inside yet. No, I'm excited. I'm a ball of nerves.
When he walked out onto the prison grounds to see me. As much as I wanted to hug him, it isn't allowed.
How you doing?
Good, man.
Good.
It's good to see you.
Likewise. How you feeling?
You know, I got a little sand in my eye. Get the old crime reporter crying. I'm just amazed. I'm amazed that I'm here, and amazed to see you, and amazed by the transformation you've made. You still sound like yourself.
I lost my accent.
Well, you should need to work on getting your Texas twang back. I had thought a lot about him over the years. I'd never written him. I'll admit that I felt somewhat guilty about it. It was a pretty powerful moment. I could see in him the 8-year-old boy.
At 19, Tommy was sentenced to life in prison.
This is where I live, in North Block at San Quentin. I've lived almost 7 years in this cell block. I witnessed people getting stabbed on my first day in prison, but I was frightened.
He was just a kid.
I wronged society. I had no right to do what I did. I deserved to go to prison.
He has had a long time to think.
The day I took Mr. Sibbitt's life was August 3rd, 1997. I was 19. I hadn't really been asleep in a bunch of days. I was addicted to methamphetamines. I was using that day, and you know, a big part of me wanted to live up to this image I had created. I was a tough drug dealer on the streets and not going to let anybody take advantage of me. But you know, through years of introspection and looking at myself, I realized I had a lot of emotional problems, I had low self-esteem. And when I pulled that trigger, it was a release valve. It was a release valve that all came flooding out onto him that day. I woke up one day in 2003 and we were on lockdown. I sat there and I thought about like how much I've hurt people my whole life and how much I took advantage of people. And you know, I sat down and I thought about a list, everything drugs had done for me in my life and everything that they had cost me or cost other people. And there was nothing good on that list except maybe fleeting moments of feeling good. And at that time, I just decided, I made a decision, I was going to turn my life around and stop using drugs. And I quit cold turkey right there. I feel a lot of remorse for what I did, and I feel a lot of sorrow for the pain that I caused them.
When Tommy went to prison, it was a family secret. For several years, my Aunt Martha didn't tell anybody. She didn't want anybody to know. Mainly, she didn't want my grandma to know. She didn't want my grandma to be hurt. And eventually, as all things happen with secrets, eventually everybody knew. And then nobody wanted to tell Aunt Martha that everybody knew. And then and there was a course of time where then eventually everybody knew that everybody knew.
That's Tommy's mom.
My aunt made many trips from Texas to see him as much as she can.
She's definitely been faithful. She showed me what love is. She's shown me unconditional love. She's my mom, and she stood by my side this whole 20 years almost.
A first-of-its-kind rehabilitation program called The Last Mile taught Tommy coding and web design.
It says San Quentin right here in my database. That's being printed out on the page right here. So I pitched this business idea during The Last Mile. Heartfelt Creation, an online platform for incarcerated artists to sell their work. And this is the site I developed from that business idea after I learned how to code. It's part of the rehabilitation process, actually. If you could create your own business and actually support, maybe you have kids you want to help out, or still pay bills and help your family. Coding gives me this dream, this idea that I can be successful.
Now he's an artist with 3 associate's degrees, trying to make his family proud.
I'm happy. I actually have a life to look forward to.
He grew up to be a man. And he found a woman that he loves. So, you know, I'm happy for him.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Her name is Elenia Horvitz.
WriteAprisoner.com, which is where I met Tommy. I wrote him a letter.
She's a sociology graduate student with an interest in mass incarceration.
I wanted to reach out to someone who had really lived it. Oh. So it only took like 2 or 3 letters for me to start like feeling like butterfly feelings when I saw his letters in the mailbox, and I was like, I'm crazy. This can't be this is crazy. Or just like, how can I be feeling this from like a letter? The moment I laid eyes on him, I was like, I'm done. It's over. Like, I just knew immediately when I saw him. And he came up to me and I hugged him really tight, and he said no one had ever hugged him like that before.
She lives near San Diego.
That feeling of so close but so far away is a constant in this kind of relationship. A few pieces of art from Tommy to me.
Elenia loves Tommy, despite his crime.
I have the image tattooed on me, so he recreated it as a Valentine's card, which is pretty cool.
She showed me what it means to be there for somebody else. You know, she's made a lot of sacrifices in her life to be there for me the last few years.
I don't think people do bad things because they're inherently bad. I think people do bad things because they've been misguided or they've been hurt.
I love her. You know, not many people actually get a second chance. That part of me looks forward to putting this behind me one day, and then part of me realizes I probably never will put this behind me. Prison's always going to be a part of me because it's where I found myself. It's where I learned some lessons in life that I needed to learn, the tough lessons. Prison actually saved my life.
This is Daddy's gun shop.
I shared our family home videos with Elenia. When we saw him playing with a toy gun, it caused us both to pause.
Just kind of eerie in a way to like see him playing guns, and like a gun is what changed his entire life.
Jeannie.
That little girl in the pink jacket is our cousin Jennifer.
And this is amazing.
You see her in this cell phone video.
I was like 4 years old when I saw you.
Yeah.
My God.
She met him on the day he got out of prison. He was released on parole May 11th after 20 years. From a family secret to a second chance.
I never knew what happened to you for the longest time. It was a secret.
Tommy is rewriting family history. Elenia was the first person Tommy saw when he got out. They're getting married.
They say hurt people, and healed people, heal people.
Person's not the sum total of the worst thing they ever did. Who a person is at 19 is not the same at 39. And I've got to tell you, I'm proud of Tommy.